Okay, this is part two of my multicultural racist group. Should I start it or should I not? Now, everybody has a story or two, or in my case, my whole fucking life's one gigantic clusterfuck of a story. So as I got older, I learned more about my heritage. But when I was younger, I owe this to Lou Diamond Phillips and Kiefer Sutherland. I would love to work with them in the movie. I know that shit's never gonna happen, but it would be great if it could. They came up with this movie called Renegades somewhere between '89 and '90, maybe '88. I don't remember. I was still in high school, but I went to go see it. Can't remember if there's titties in it or not. Sorry, this video is not for children. Anyway, so um, in the movie, Lou Diamond Phillips plays, I think, a Sioux Indian or something, and it's either Renegades was the name of the movie. Not to be mistaken with the Cowboy Way, which I think was Keith Sutherland and Woody Harrelson, but I'm not going to swear to that because I don't remember how all of it works. Because one of my greatest shames before I found out I was Native American, I wanted to be a cowboy, and the first book I ever read at 3 years old was Jonah Hex, the comic book from DC Comics. Once I learned that I was part Native American, that's always been my greatest shame that I wanted to be a cowboy. But I'm also part black, and black guys started the cowboy genre, supposedly. I don't really know. That's just speculation. You guys can Google that shit. I could honestly care two shits because cowboys killed Indians, and I have more Indian blood in me than cowboys. And then there was Brave Star, which was a combination of a Native American who was actually a cowboy. Long story, great cartoon. His horse could transform. Anyway, so I'm working. I'm working at Kevlar's, and I don't know this guy. He was a young man. He was in his 20s or his 30s, and I was in my teens. And every day that I worked for 3 fucking years, he would call me Chief. He would not call me by my fucking name. The name tag's there is bright as day. He would not call me by my name, and it totally sucked, you know. So I'm like, okay, cool, and I would beg him to call me by my name, and he just refused. He refused to call me by my name. He would only call me one word all day, every day. He would only call me Chief. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, wow. Why does this guy keep calling me fucking Chief? Does he not know I'm black? But I guess that beats being called nigger. But no, he obviously knew I was mixed, but he would not stop calling me anything but Chief. And thank you, Lou Diamond Phillips, because that shit got on my nerve after seeing Renegades. I hated being called Chief, and lo and behold, for 3 fucking years, this guy called me Chief. So when I got out of there, I thought that shit would never happen again, ever. So one of my sisters was working at Burger King, and I had to go pick her up. And I'm standing outside, and this white kid comes to me. He can't be more than maybe 15, 16, and I'm 20, 24, somewhere in my 20s. And this kid walks up to me, and he's a little hesitant, maybe a little scared, because what he says is not something that people normally do, because I guess there's a respect line, and he didn't really want to cross it. But I respect him because of how he did it. So he goes, "Can I ask you a question?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up, bro?" He's like, "I don't want to offend you, but I have to know, because I've been staring at you for a long time." I said, "Yeah, I noticed." And he goes, "Are you some kind of Indian?" So that, in a nutshell, it kind of blew me away because that has never happened after or before. you know. So he goes, "Look, dude, I'm really not trying to offend you. I don't want to get my ass beat or anything, but are you some kind of Indian?" I was like, "Yeah, I am part Cherokee Indian." He said, "Okay, thanks." And he walked off. It wasn't a big fucking deal. It didn't offend me, and I told him, "Look, there's nothing wrong with asking somebody if you're not sure what their race is, and you went about that properly." So, it wasn't like you came up and said, "Hey, half breed," because I've had that happen a lot, you know, and mostly as a child. When somebody calls you a half breed as a child, it's not a whole lot that you can really do or say about it. Sorry, had to answer that text. You know, so the thing is, I can't be the only one who's gone through this, which is why I want to know if anybody wants to join this channel or stuff and have a conversation about it. And I'm not trying to start a racial shit. I'm not trying to start any riots. I just want to know if anybody else has experienced this shit besides me. Now, like I said, if you guys are here in Charlottesville, you know my mom. So I never wanted her to come to school because we lived in the projects, and that was like fuel for everyone to pick on me. It's like, God, your mom's white. You're not a real nigger. You're a half nigger. And I've been through that shit from grade school to high school. In high school, I tried to hide the fact that I was mixed. Honestly, I swear to God, I tried to hide the fact that I was mixed because I got so sick and tired of people saying, what are you mixed with? What are you mixed with? What are you mixed with? As I got out of high school, I accepted it and just said, okay, fuck it. I can't hide it. People are going to see I don't have black people here. This is not no fucking perm job. I'll probably need to perm this shit because these curls are a pain in the ass. They always have been. And I have permed my hair before. But once I went to the military, I didn't have any hair. They took it all off. Then it pissed me off when I found out that if you were Native American, you didn't have to have your hair cut because it was a symbolic gesture of your tribe. I don't think that counted for mixed people because even in the military, people ask me, it's like, you're not exactly just black, are you? And I'm like, no, I'm not. But also, I think it's because the Native Americans that I met at Fort Benning literally came off the reservation. I didn't come off a reservation. I was raised in town. I've never been to a reservation. I would like to go to my ancestral reservation on my father's side, or on his mother's side, rather. Then, before I die, that's like my ultimate journey. I'm going to the Powell Height Reservation as soon as I can find someone who wants to go with me and we can drive there. I don't know if there's a hotel there, but I'm pretty sure I don't want to sleep outside. I only wanted to stay for like a day, unless they let me stay for a week. If I figure out how to get that done, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not going to film it unless I get lucky. But, I guess it depends. But, growing up multicultural is not fun. It's fun to a certain extent, but in the flip side of fun, there's fury, and in fury, people tend to infuriate you with the shit that comes out their mouth. So, sorry. Anyway, the flip side of fun is fury, because they both start with an F. Fun's only 3 letters and fury is 4. But the thing, it's F-U. F-U-R-Y is fury, F-U-N is fun. Okay, so the thing is, your rebuttal, you have to be able to come back without, like, burning a gasket. When I was a kid, I couldn't come back without burning a gasket because I had put up with so much of it for so long, from grade school to high school, that I got tired of black people calling me a half-breed. I got tired of white people asking me, what the hell are you mixed with? And then I got tired of, God, please don't let my mama have to come to school because then everybody's going to fucking know that I'm mixed and I don't want to have to go through that shit. Now, other mixed kids seem to have blended in with people just fine. Not the kid here. I couldn't blend in with anybody. I had a lot of good white friends until the race war at Burley Moran began. Then I really didn't have that many white friends. I had a lot of good black friends until the race war at Burley Moran began, and then I didn't have many friends at all. And all I had was, whose side are you on? And that was before I found out that I was part Cherokee Indian. That's when I just thought I was just black and white. And once I found out that I was Cherokee Indian, I was like, oh, great. One more problem to add to my life, as if being half black and half white wasn't a fucking issue. So then I kind of found out that the majority of my bloodline is mostly Native American. So I'm like, okay, well that explains why I don't look like most black people. So yay. Now I will say, there have been times culturally where I have been ashamed to be black. There have been times culturally where I have been ashamed to be white. And I have never, ever, ever really been ashamed to be Native American until True TV and them started coming out with how Native Americans are a bunch of drunk hippies out west or whatever. It's like, but that's not Cherokee, you know, because Cherokee Indians, they live on the resi. Some of them actually work in cities. Some of them do things, and the stereotypical Indian has been misrepresented in most movies. And then, you know, uh, most of the times, if you see a Native American in a movie, they don't get the full credit, of course, unless you're one of those fucking Twilight fans. But they all turn into wolves. You know, they don't get to turn into eagles. We turned into so much more shit than just fucking wolves. But a lot of tribes believe that they were descended from wolves, and it varies from tribe to tribe. But a lot of Asian tribes in Asia also believed that they were descended from wolves. So, you know, culturally, it's sound. But universally, you know, all Asian cultures and beliefs are slightly different. You know, it just depends on, I guess, who tells you what. You know, now I will say, alright, culturally, there's not a lot of Native American heroes. When I was younger, Hanna-Barbera ruled the cartoon world, and the only Native American hero there was Apache Chief, who at the time I thought belonged to DC Comics, and I had recently found out within the last year or two that him and the samurai from the Super Friends were never in the DC universe. They were just there so Hanna-Barbera could have some ties to it, and that there wouldn't be a lack of colored heroes. So you had to have Chuck, which was Apache Chief, who grew up real big, and then you had the samurai with the tornado or the tsunami out of his butt, and then you had the Black Lightning guy, who was actually the only black guy on the Super Friends until Cyborg came in. So there was like really little cultured people, and then they had El Diablo, El Dorado, El some damn body. They had a Mexican guy on there, so it was really like Hanna Barbera's idea to add more colored superheroes to the Super Friends, which was cool because it also beats them having fucking Scooby Doo. Because Scooby Doo was also in the Super Friends. Don't ask, I don't want to talk about it. But Hanna Barbera themselves, up until Pirates of the Dark Waters came out, didn't really have too many heroes of color because you had Blue Falcon and you had Johnny Quest. And in Johnny Quest, you had an Indian, but you didn't have any black people. You just had an Indian guy, Haji. And you had Race, he was the badass. And you had Dr. Quentin Quest, and then you had Johnny. And then you had Bandit the dog. So if you were black, you were either going to be a fan of Bandit the dog or a fan of Haji because you were of color. Simple as that. But, Hanna-Barbera stepped up their game. When they brought in the hard rock guy and when they brought in other thing, and then if you watch Hanna-Barbera and if they were the ones who created Hong Kong Phooey, there was a black guy talking for them. But the thing about actors and voiceover actors, you really don't know what the fuck they look like until you hear about them. Because it fucked me up to find out that Kunta Kinte was the voice of Kwame from Captain Planet. Alright? So, hey, they're both black. Works for me. And Whoopi Goldberg was the voice of Gaia from Captain Planet. And that made me want to keep my planet clean. I watched Captain Planet. I was a Planeteer. No, I could not afford the shirt, but I got all the action figures. And my Captain Planet could change colors when he got wet. But, the funny thing is, there were never any people like me in cartoons. The closest person like me in a cartoon is Ren from Pirates of Darkwater. No, I'm not him, although it would have been great to be him. But there were rarely any few characters who were multicultural. And then the only other character that I could relate to was Brave Star, except for I don't have eyes of the hawk, ears of the wolf, strength of the bear, and speed of the puma. I also don't have a fucking horse that can transform, because I'm also dreadfully afraid of horses. Me and 3030 would have never been friends. Maybe. If I could get past my prejudice towards horses, maybe me and 3030 could have been friends. But you have to look at the stereotype of Native Americans riding the Mustangs through the plains. So, it kind of is what it is. So, in that, as I'm going to close out, because I have to make a third video, because these things are like 15 minutes long now. Now, my third video, I'm going to try and stay as serious as possible with little stories and more questions.